Welcome to the Florida Department of Transportation's public hearing for the State Road 72 Clark Road Project Development and Environment, or PD&E study. We appreciate your attendance and participation. This public hearing is being conducted to give the public the opportunity to review and provide comments on the preferred alternative and associated effects on the social, economic, cultural, natural, and physical environment. The purpose of this PD&E study is to evaluate engineering and environmental data and document information that will aid Sarasota County, Sarasota Manatee Metropolitan Planning Organization, or MPO, FDOT District 1, and the FDOT Office of Environmental Management, or OEM, in determining the type, preliminary design, and location of the proposed improvements. The study begins east of I-75 and extends approximately 3.4 miles to Lorraine Road in Sarasota County. Clark Road is classified as an urban minor arterial and plays an important role in the transportation network. The department proposes to improve this segment by widening to a 4-lane divided roadway, as well as constructing shared-use paths for bicycle and pedestrian accommodation. This improvement would also include safety improvements from a raised median, curb and gutter, and roundabout intersections. The need for the proposed improvements for Clark Road is based on population and traffic growth in the area. Clark Road is a designated evacuation route and serves an important role as an east-west connection in the region. The Sarasota Manatee MPO has identified the corridor as a high priority, as it is a top 10 non-motorized crash corridor. This project seeks to improve operational capacity, enhance safety conditions, and accommodate bicycle and pedestrian activity. Within the project limits, existing Clark Road is a 2-lane undivided roadway with 12-foot lanes and intermittent right turn and left turn lanes. There are generally 5-foot paved shoulders on each side of the roadway, within 100 feet of existing right-of-way or property that FDOT already owns. Stormwater runoff is collected in roadside ditches. The posted speed limit is generally 45 miles per hour from I-75 to Proctor Road. East of Proctor Road, the posted speed limit is 55 miles per hour. There are few areas with sidewalk along the road. Throughout this PD&E study process, FDOT has looked at different concepts to improve the operational capacity of Clark Road in order to accommodate future travel demand. Alternatives were developed in consideration of input from local agencies and public comments received at the public meetings. The last public meeting was an alternative public information meeting held on October 4, 2023. At that meeting, we asked for your input on proposed improvements. Based on your comments and additional environmental and engineering analysis, a preferred alternative was selected for Clark Road. The preferred alternative for Clark Road results in the reconstruction of the project limits to include 4 11-foot travel lanes, a raised 22-foot median, curb and gutter, and 12-foot shared-use paths on both sides. The roadside open drainage system will be converted to a closed drainage system with off-site stormwater ponds. The design speed is 35 miles per hour from east of I-75 to east of Proctor Road, and 45 miles per hour from east of Proctor Road to Lorraine Road. It is anticipated that 28 acres of additional right-of-way will be required for the proposed roadway, the stormwater ponds, and the roundabout intersections. Throughout this study, a no-build alternative is also considered. The no-build alternative assumes that no improvements are made to Clark Road through the year 2050, except for routine maintenance. There are advantages and disadvantages to the no-build alternative. Advantages of the no-build alternative include no impact to the adjacent social, cultural, natural, or physical environment, no utility impacts, no expenditures of funds for design, right-of-way acquisition, or construction. Disadvantages include not consistent with Sarasota County Comprehensive Plan 2045 Future Thoroughfare Plan, does not enhance pedestrian and bicycle accommodations, does not improve safety conditions, does not improve vehicular traffic operations. The no-build alternative remains a valid option and will continue to be evaluated until the completion of this study. FDOT evaluated environmental and socioeconomic factors relating to the proposed roadway improvements in accordance with the National Environmental Policy Act of 1969, as amended, and other federal requirements. The evaluation considered the effects of widening Clark Road on protected species and habitat, wetlands and floodplains, water quality, sociocultural and economic effects, contamination, archaeological and historical resources, recreational sites, highway traffic noise. Protected species and habitats are allowed special protection under the Endangered Species Act of 1973 as amended, and Florida statutes. FDOT assessed species within the project limits and through ongoing coordination with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has determined that the proposed project may affect, but is not likely to adversely affect, the existence of certain federally listed threatened or endangered species. The animal species include the eastern indigo snake and wood stork. In addition, no adverse effect is anticipated for the state-listed threatened or endangered species shown on the slide. Coordination with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service regarding the final status of these species is ongoing. If the preferred alternative is approved by the OEM, FDOT District 1 will continue to work closely with environmental agencies in future phases, such as design and construction, to meet all environmental permitting requirements. FDOT evaluated wetlands within the project limits in accordance with Executive Order 11990, Protection of Wetlands. The proposed improvements will affect approximately 4 acres of wetlands and 3.9 acres of surface waters. The department will mitigate wetland impacts resulting from this project's construction to meet requirements of Florida statutes and the United States Code. The project has been evaluated for potential floodplain involvement in accordance with Executive Order 11988, Floodplain Management. There is no significant change in flood risk as a result of the proposed widening, and minimal encroachments are expected to the 100-year floodplain. Floodplain compensation will be within the proposed pond sites. A water quality impact evaluation was performed. The proposed stormwater management facilities will be designed in accordance with the current requirements of the Southwest Florida Water Management District. Results of the environmental contamination screening showed that 2 sites were ranked medium for potential contamination, and 8 sites were ranked low for potential contamination. For the sites that are ranked low for contamination, no further action is required at this time. For the sites with a risk ranking of medium, the FDOT project manager and the District Contamination Impact Coordinator will coordinate on further actions during the design phase that must be taken to address contamination issues. Locations of these sites are shown in the concept plans on display tonight. The study team evaluated effects of traffic noise associated with the proposed improvements consistent with requirements outlined in Title 23, Code of Federal Regulations, Part 772, Procedures for Abatement of Highway Traffic Noise and Construction Noise, and with the FDOT PD&E manual. Noise-sensitive sites along the project corridor were evaluated for traffic noise levels that approach or exceed noise abatement criteria established by the Federal Highway Administration. Based on the analysis, one receptor is predicted to experience highway traffic noise levels that approach, meet, or exceed the noise abatement criteria in the future with the proposed project improvements. However, a noise barrier is not a viable noise abatement measure for the impacted receptor since the minimum feasibility requirements cannot be achieved. If you'd like more information regarding traffic noise, please speak with one of our noise specialists here tonight. The study team examined the project area for publicly owned properties that may be affected under Section 4F of the Department of Transportation Act of 1966. Twin Lakes Park is a Section 4F resource. The preferred alternative includes the expansion of the joint-use pond at Twin Lakes Park. FDOT will further coordinate with Sarasota County during the design phase regarding the use of the pond within Twin Lakes Park, a proposed shell path around the pond, and the accommodations of future park master plan stormwater needs. Based upon the overall minor level of impact and implementation of proposed mitigative actions to address potential impacts, the project will not adversely affect the activities, features, and attributes of Twin Lakes Park in meeting its intended Section 4F purpose. As such, FDOT is pursuing a Section 4F de minimis finding for the potential impacts. This hearing provides the opportunity for public comment on the project's impacts to Twin Lakes Park. A cultural resource assessment survey was conducted in accordance with the National Historic Preservation Act of 1966 and Florida statutes. Archaeologists and historians identified no archaeological sites or historic resources within the project study area. The State Historic Preservation Officer concurred with these findings. This project will not cause any relocation of residences or businesses. All right-of-way acquisition will be conducted in accordance with Florida Statute 339.09 and the Federal Uniform Relocation Assistance and Real Property Acquisition Act of 1970, commonly known as the Uniform Act. The right-of-way specialists who are supervising this program are here tonight and will be happy to answer your questions. In accordance with Rule 1497 of the Florida Administrative Code, the proposed improvements will include a median to control the movements or access of turning traffic. These changes are presented in compliance with Section 335.199 Florida Statutes, Transportation Projects, modifying access to adjacent property. An evaluation matrix showing a detailed comparison of the preferred alternative and the no-build alternative is provided in the project handout and is also on display here this evening. The matrix shows potential effects to the social, cultural, natural, and physical environments and identifies preliminary costs. The estimated cost to widen Clark Road from east of I-75 to Lorraine Road includes $7.9 million for final design, $1 million for mitigation, and $20 million for right-of-way acquisition for roadway and stormwater management areas. The total estimated construction cost for the project is $82.5 million. The cost for construction engineering and inspection is estimated at $8.25 million. The department's preliminary estimate of total project cost is about $120 million. The department anticipates completion of this PD&E study by late 2025. The study's schedule is on display this evening. The PD&E study is one phase of the FDOT Transportation Project Development process. At this time, FDOT's tentative 5-year work program includes funding for design in fiscal year 2026, but right-of-way and construction phases are not currently funded. We encourage you to review project information tonight and provide us your feedback. There are multiple ways to provide comment during the live in-person event, by completing a speaker card and handing it to anyone with a name tag during the upcoming intermission, providing your comment to the court reporter at the comment table, by mail to the address shown on the screen, or by email or through the project website. All comments should be submitted or postmarked by July 9th, 2025 to become a part of the formal hearing record. All hearing materials presented tonight are available to the public on the project webpage and will remain posted for your review. The technical documents are also available for review in person at the UF IFAS extension, located at 6700 Clark Road, and the Gulf Gate Public Library, located at 7112 Curtis Avenue. These technical documents are available at both locations until July 9, 2025. If you would like to review these materials at the District 1 office, please make an appointment by contacting FDOT's Project Manager, Stephen Andrews, using the contact information included in your handout. You may also visit the project website at swflroads.com/project/444634-1 for the latest study information, schedule, and upcoming events. This PD&E study is being conducted and completed according to the requirements of the National Environmental Policy Act and other related federal and state laws, rules, and regulations, which will qualify future phases of this project for federal funding, and this hearing was advertised consistent with those requirements. Please see the statute display board for all other applicable requirements. This hearing is also conducted in accordance with the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990 and with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and related statutes. Anyone who feels he or she has been discriminated against with regard to race, color, national origin, age, sex, religion, disability, or family status may complete one of the forms located at the sign-in table and mail the completed form to the address listed on the poster board. And finally, an FDOT safety moment. Tech is nice, but always look twice. Don't depend on vehicle technology to keep you and other road users safe. FDOT thanks you for making safety a continued priority. Thank you for your interest and participation in the State Road 72 Clark Road Project Development and Environment Study public hearing, and for taking the time to join us this evening.